Welcome everyone. This is Tech for Senior. This is episode Huey 277.
Get
Not bad,
there.
eh? July the 28th, 2025. I want to thank you, Huey, for uh, helping me out the last couple of weeks and taking on the role as MC. As you know, my family's here and we'll be heading back to Ethiopia this Thursday. In fact, Jennifer will be talking in about 5 minutes. So she'll be able to, she's going to talk today about Kobo readers, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But thanks so much for doing that. I am fully charged and ready to get back in the saddle. So thanks so much for hanging in there. And I'm glad your surgery went well. And I'm glad you're feeling better. So that's great. This, of course, is July the 28th. And just to remind everybody that those of you who are really missing Tech for Senior Live on Thursday, you haven't had any news for a whole month now. Hugh and I are compiling a big show for August the 7th, which will be we'll be starting back with our Tech for Senior Live on Thursday. So we'll be getting going again. Today, of course, we have a great lineup for you today. My daughter, of course, is going to talk about Kobo readers. And I asked Huey, I said, Huey, we were talking on Saturday, and I said, she's going to talk, and he said, what's a Kobo? And I thought, well, maybe it's not that common, or you haven't heard of it. So we thought it would be a good topic, so because she just got one for her birthday, and I'm not going to tell you who bought it for her, but anyway. She has a new Kobo reader, so you're going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about snoozing. Now, not the snoozing that you're all doing in the afternoon. This is snoozing on Gmail. And I thought that was a good topic because I think it was last week or the week before, I talked about snoozing and someone had never heard of it. So I thought maybe you don't know about that feature in Gmail. We're going to talk about that. Bill's going to talk about Hey Siri. And then I'm going to talk about a really important feature that five life-saving features on your smartphone. And I'm going to talk about Android and iPhone on your smart and Samsung. Five life-saving features that you need to turn on and be aware of. Mike's got, of course, his music outro, and then we're going to follow along with the premiere version that's coming up just after the at half past the hour. I'm going to talk about Google Lens basics, and Chris Gould's going to talk about printing with Google Photos, which is always a little tricky. So that's a great video. And Huey's going to talk about, QR code safety. And it was interesting because this morning I was just reading an article about the problems and um, the security issues with QR codes. So it was this is a resurfaced again. So thank you for doing that, Huey. And you'll be talking about that. And that is all at half past the hour. Now and those of course you who saw our newsletter this weekend, of course, was all about HDMI cords, and I think that's an interesting topic. And please have a look at the newsletter because cords, particularly HDMI cords, the standards are changing dramatically. So we will definitely be having you should be looking at that and watching it, and certainly not using old cords because that can be a big problem. So today we're going to talk. So I think that's about it. I don't have. Let me meet everybody. Of course, Huey, you're here. You're doing okay. Everything's fine. You're feeling better.
Yeah, but difficult to talk.
Difficult to talk. Will you just rest that voice of yours because you don't have to do anything today. You just have to sit back and relax, right?
That's what I'm going to do.
And Mike Leaman, how are you doing?
It's a warm day here on the East Coast, but other than that, all is good. Got news this morning. My new truck is in town, so kind of
Yeah.
excited about that. Just another great day in the Maritimes.
Indeed, indeed. And you got a hybrid too.
Yes, this will be my second hybrid.
Okay. All right, that's good. Well, we expect some pictures and some definitely,
Definitely.
yeah, that's good. Yeah. Bill James is away. Bill's at the dentist this morning, so he's away. So I said, well, you have to get your dentist to watch Tech for Senior. Anyway, we'll see what transpires. So he'll be back shortly, and yeah, so that's it for our show today. So let's get going. I'm going to get Jennifer up in just a minute. I want just to talk a little bit about. I've got a picture here. I did. Just a minute. I want to just bring the picture up, just so that we can compare the Kobo readers. Just a minute here. There we go. Now we should be able just to see this. Curses. All right, let's see if we can show you this. Share this. Screens. Here we go. Can you see that? Huey, can you see that? No?
No, not yet. There it comes. There we
Okay.
go.
All right. So now let's see. How can I see this?
You going to do any comparison with Kindle and Kobo?
Yeah, so that you'll see there that the Kindle is the Kobo's on the left, the Kindle is in the middle, and the iPad is on the right. So you'll see the different sizes. Now, the reason the reason both my daughters are, of course, very interested. They're real Apple people, so they're all into Apple. And it was interesting. My daughter lives in Australia. Last year, had researched them all and decided that she wanted to go with a Kobo reader. And I thought, well, that's interesting. Okay, I thought she might get an iPad or something like that. And then, of course, when Jennifer came home this year, she researched them all and decided to go with a Kobo reader as well. And so there's some specific differences between them. So she's here today to talk about her experience with it and why she decided to choose that. And I'm going to just stop the video for a second here, and she's going to sit down in my chair so she gets to sit in the big chair.
Hi, I'm back. So, as my dad said, I am a Apple person. All my products are Apple. And when the concept of e-reading came out, so that's using a device to read, um, initially, like I guess maybe 15 years ago, I was against it. I was one of those people that said, I like a book in my hands. I want to flip the page, and I rejected e-readers for a really long time. I didn't want anything to do with them. But the reality of my lifestyle living overseas and moving means that at the end of the day, I have to put all these books into boxes. I also travel a lot, and so I have to, if I'm reading a book, then I have to put it in my carry-on bag, which I now share with my son, and that takes up space. So then over the years, I've tried different things. I've tried my iPad. I've used iBooks on the iPad, and I've purchased books on there. But with the iPad, it was heavy, and so it was hard to like, this sounds very luxurious, but reading at a beach chair is very important. So, but holding up the iPad was too heavy. The iPad also, the screen doesn't do very well in light. So I trucked along with the iPad and read a few books and thought, well, it's okay, but it's not great. Then, when we moved to Ethiopia, I joined some book clubs because I've gotten off of reading and I thought I'm going to read um, I'm going to get back into reading. So again, trying to avoid an accumulation of books. I actually read a 700-page book on my phone, um, which was kind of handy because it's small and easy. So when I was in the lineup at the airport, I could pull out my phone and read it. But then my son likes to play games on my phone and when we're at the airport, and so I wouldn't have my phone all the time with me. So it wasn't super ideal. I also just don't like, sometimes I was at school eating my lunch and I don't like the look of like looking at my phone, even though I'm reading a book. But so the phone wasn't good. So then, but I did really like the size of that. So then, um, I fast forward to this year and I really got back into reading. But again, Addis, hard to find books. But then I also don't want to buy a $30 digital book. I don't like, I feel weird buying something for $30 and I don't even get to touch it. It just sits in my e-library in space. So I decided to commit to a better e-reader, and then I started my research into the Kindle versus Kobo. And really what it came down to is Kobo. Here's my nice little new Kobo. My Kobo is an open access device. So every school I've worked at, their libraries have a digital library that through a third-party app, you can connect your Kobo to and then borrow books on the Kobo. So, and I don't know if it's all Kobos, but this Kobo also connects to Google Drive. So if I wanted to read it for professional reading, I could. And so my goal this summer was after I got the Kobo was to go up to our library, which is just up the street from us. And after like 40 years of not having a library account, I signed up for the library and got it registered on my Kobo. And since I've had my Kobo here, I've read 3 books and I haven't bought any of them. And they've all been um, taken out from the library. I also liked this one because this particular one is color. And so my son, he's not a huge reader yet, but he does love graphic novels. So I wanted this one to see how he would go with a Kobo because I feel like this might be a future Christmas present from Grandpa, if it goes well with the grandson. But so I got this to kind of share with my son also with the graphic novels, which are like fancy comic books. So yeah, so features I really like about it. It's super light. Um, the big difference though is the screen. Like the iPad screen doesn't adjust automatically, but no matter where I am, the light will adjust. And you can even see here, it does really well. Like I'm showing my Kobo into the screen and you can see it's pretty bright. And I'm super excited about putting this little thing on my carry-on and bringing it on the airplane. And I've already got some of our book club books downloaded. I've got them in reserve. I'm holding them in the library. They're not ready yet, but and I haven't paid for any books. So this is why I chose the Kobo. Any questions? Do I take questions or?
Sure. Any questions? Do you want to talk about Overdrive?
Overdrive is the third-party app that is on the Kobo that helps you connect to different e-reader subscriptions, I think. I think Overdrive is now called Libby. But to the Overdrive was built in right to my Kobo. So when I go search on the main screen, it just has Overdrive right on it. And I clicked Overdrive, and then the people at the library told me to type in my PIN and my password, and it contacted or connected me instantly. Um, So I like that. There is another feature on here called the Kobo Plus, where it's again like Apple Music. If you pay $10 a month, then all the books go from being $30 to $10. I think Kindles are fine. I know that when I did research on Kindles, one of the thing about the Kindle seemed that it did have it's more in its like Google ecosystem, and a lot of the reviews said the Kindle system had maybe more limited books. I don't know if thousands of books can be considered limited, but the books I wanted to read didn't really appear to be the free ones on the Kindle. But I know my mom here has a Kindle and she's always reading stuff and she's happy with it. So I think it just comes down to personal um, preference. I also read in a review that the Kobo has refresh issues. The one thing that is a little bit funny with this one, with the color, I'm not sure the exact technology. Maybe my dad will find out about it, but the screen on the Kobo is not the same as an iPad or a Kindle
What are you
screen.
doing?
So when I change pages on the color, it does like a weird
Does it feel good to be
blurry
back in your own bed?
thing. And I read it's because of the type of screen
Yeah.
these are, because this is not a screen, this is not a typical like phone screen. So it feels like it's a screen from 1991, but then it just said restart it and it kind of it kind of clears it up. There's too much information that it's processing and there's a lag. But I haven't had any problems.
Steve, go ahead. Steve's got a question.
Yeah, does it handle the CBR files well? They're the graphic ones that you use for the graphic novels.
So my son read a graphic novel. I think I returned it to the library, so I don't think I can show you. My son read a graphic novel. He read a whole book once we were out at dinner. The colors, I would say, weren't vibrant like the actual book, and they weren't vibrant like you might find on like we have some reading apps for him. One is called Epic. If you're a grandparent and you want to buy your grandchildren Epic, I would highly recommend it. However, for him, he's not a super like discerning person when it comes to that. So for him, it was fine. It was fine for him. But the colors are not the same as what you would see on an iPad for sure. But
All right. Sorry, we're going to have to cut it off there because we have a time schedule on the show. So we can answer your questions in the Q&A, but we have to get moving ahead.
bye.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to explore one of Gmail's most helpful but often overlooked features. It's called Snooze. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior, where we help seniors with those cluttered email boxes. Today we're going to talk about a Gmail feature called snoozing. No, it's not this type of snoozing. It's the snoozing that you can do as a feature of your Gmail. I was surprised the other day when I was giving a talk how few people knew about snoozing. Now, I have a passion in life, and that's to keep my inbox in Gmail at a 0 level. Well, I try hard. Anyway, I use the snoozing feature in Gmail all the time. It's my #1 feature of Gmail. I wanted to share that with you today. If you haven't used this feature, it's something you're really going to want to use. If your inbox is full of messages you want to deal with later, but you're afraid of forgetting about them, this feature is definitely for you. Let's jump in and I'll show you how to use it. So what exactly is snooze in Gmail? Well, it's like hitting a pause button on an email. You temporarily remove the message from your inbox and have it return at a time and date you choose. It's perfect for when you want to deal with something, but not right now. Think of it like a digital assistant. It gently nudges you with that email right when you're ready. No more lost messages or forgotten tasks buried in crowded inbox. All right, let's see where we can find the snoozing feature on the desktop of my Gmail. Now we're in my Gmail box. This is a test site that I use, and you can see that my inbox has a whole bunch of emails. Now, let's look at the first email here, and it's a great one. It's our Tech for Senior newsletter. So if you haven't subscribed, I would encourage you to do so. But let's say, for example, in this newsletter, let's say I just don't have time to look at it right now, but I want to bring it back. And you can say, well, I can just leave it there, but then, you leave a thing and you leave it and leave it and leave it, and pretty soon your email box keeps growing. So let's snooze this. As we come along here let's go over to the right. And as we come over here to the right, you're going to see a little clock. And if you hover over it, it says snooze. So let's see what we can do here. We're going to click snooze, and we can snooze it to later in the day. We can snooze it to tomorrow. We can snooze it to this weekend or next week. Or we can actually choose a date. Let's pick a date and time. So here we are. We could even say, well, I'm going to do it on Monday morning at 8 a.m. and we're going to save it. There it goes. It's gone. You won't see it till Monday. Hold on. But maybe you're thinking, I might want to see it earlier. Where did it go? Well, if you come over to the left side and you look down on the left side, you'll see this is a folder which we call snoozed. If you open this folder, you can see here is our letter in the snooze folder. And of course, we can re-snooze it and change the time, or we can unsnooze it. If we come down here to the right, we can unsnooze it and it will go right back into our inbox. Now there's another place that you can snooze it. If we open the email up, newsletter up, and you'll see this is our newsletter. But if I come up here to the top, and you'll see these three little dots, click that and you'll see it says snooze, and this brings up the same message that you had before. You can either snooze it when the email is open, like in this situation, or if we go back to our inbox, we go over here, we can snooze it without opening it. Now on your phone, the process is just as easy. All right, we're now in Gmail on my mobile device, my Pixel 8 Pro. And you'll see that the first email I have here is called Simple Flying, came in at 11:05 this morning. Let's say I want to snooze this and have it come back at a later date. Let's open this up here, and this talks a little bit about the email. But if we come up to these little three-dot menu on the right-hand side, we're going to click this, and there you'll see snooze. If we click snooze, we can snooze it to later today, tomorrow, next week, or we can pick a date, the same as was on our desktop. So let's pick tomorrow, and we'll go OK, and we'll save this, and now of course it's gone. If we come up to the three lines on the left-hand side here, we'll come down and you'll see it says snoozed, and this is a label that you have, and this is set up for you. And there at the top you'll see Simple Flying, which is being snoozed, and that's where it's stored. Now if we wanted to change this is snoozed until tomorrow at 7 a.m. If we wanted to change that, we can come over here, and again we can unsnooze it, and it will put it back into our inbox. So that's how it works on a mobile device. So here are a few pro tips to get the most from Gmail Snooze. Use it to clear your inbox without forgetting tasks. Pair it with Gmail stars or labels for better organization. Check your snoozed folder once a week, just in case you might need to adjust things. Snooze is a simple feature, but it can make a huge difference in how you manage your email. Less stress, fewer missed deadlines, and a cleaner, calmer inbox. If this tip helped you, give this video a thumbs up. And if you want more quick and easy tech tips, subscribe and hit the bell so you'll never miss an update. Snoozing, not what, Huey, not what you're going to do this afternoon.
And maybe this morning.
It is. That's right. Snoozing. So I use it all the time. I use it every single day. I think it's one of the greatest features in Gmail. It's so easy to do. All right. Let's see what Bill James has to say about Siri.
Hey Siri, show me the future. Hello, what's up everybody? It's Bill James here, Tech for Senior. Today we're diving into something that's becoming a bigger and bigger part of our lives every day. Voice assistants and how they can simplify and spice up everyday life. Who here has ever said, "Hey, Siri," or "Alexa"? I know I have. It's almost second nature now. Most people think of these for weather and alarms, but they can do so much more. We're talking next level convenience, organization, and even entertainment, all just by using your voice. So in this video, we're going to break down everything you need to know about voice assistants, from the basics to some seriously cool hidden features. Let's get into it. Alright, so first things first. What exactly are we talking about here? Voice assistants are basically like super smart computer programs that live on your devices. They're always listening. Don't worry, we'll get to the privacy stuff later. For their wake word, like "Hey Siri" or "Okay Google." Once you say that magic phrase, they're ready to take your commands. And we're talking way more than just basic stuff. You've got your big players, like Siri on Apple devices, Alexa on Amazon's Echo devices, and Google Assistant on, well, pretty much everything Google these days. Even Samsung has Bixby, though it hasn't quite caught on the same way. The cool thing is, voice assistants aren't just stuck on your phone anymore. They're in smart speakers, like the Amazon Echo and Google Nest, your headphones, your car, even your refrigerator. Okay, maybe not everyone has a smart fridge yet, but you get the idea. They're becoming more and more integrated into our lives. And that's where the real magic starts to happen. So, we've all used voice assistants for the simple stuff, right? You know, those basic tasks that make life just a little bit easier, checking the weather, setting alarms, that kind of thing. But there's so much more these devices can do. But let's talk about how these things can actually level up your day-to-day. They can be your personal assistant, your DJ, and even your home manager. First up, reminders and lists. These are lifesavers for anyone juggling a busy schedule. This is a game changer for forgetful people like me. No more sticky notes all over the place. Just say something like, "Hey Siri, remind me to call Mom at 7 p.m. and boom, you're good to go. It's like having a personal secretary. You can even create shared lists with your family so everyone's on the same page for groceries or chores. No more duplicate purchases or missed items. Speaking of communication, voice assistants can make calls and send texts for you, too. It's incredibly convenient. Driving and need to send a quick message? No problem. Just use your voice assistant. Just tell your assistant who to text and what to say. It's that simple. It's way safer than trying to type. While you're on the road, safety first, always. And of course, we got to talk about music and podcasts. These are the fun parts. This is where voice assistants really shine. They can set the mood for any occasion. Just say, "Alexa, play some lo-fi beats," and you've got the perfect chill-out soundtrack. It's like having a DJ on demand. Or catch up on your favorite podcasts, hands-free while you're cooking or working out. Multitasking has never been easier. But here's where things get really futuristic. Controlling your smart home devices. It's like living in a sci-fi movie. Imagine walking in the door after a long day and saying, "Hey Google, turn on the lights," and set the thermostat to 72. Instant comfort. That's the future, people, and it's available right now. It's not just for tech enthusiasts anymore. And let's not forget the power of knowledge at your fingertips. These devices can answer almost any question you throw at them. Need to settle a bet? Just ask your voice assistant. It's like having a trivia master in your home. Want to know the latest news? They've got you covered. Stay updated without lifting a finger. It's like having a walking, talking encyclopedia right there in your pocket. The convenience is unmatched. Oh, and if you need a laugh, voice assistants can tell you jokes or even sing you a song. They're full of surprises. You never know what they'll come up with next. Alright, now it's time to get into some of the lesser known features that really make voice assistants special. These features are often overlooked, but can significantly enhance your daily life. These are the things that most people don't even realize they can do. But once you start using them, you'll wonder how you ever lived without them. They can save you time, make your home smarter, and even add a bit of fun to your routine. First up, daily briefings. Imagine waking up and having all the information you need for the day delivered to you without lifting a finger. This is like having your own personal assistant start your day off right. You can customize it to include weather updates, news headlines, traffic reports, and even your calendar events. Just say something like, "Alexa, good morning," and you'll get a personalized rundown of the weather, news, and anything else you need to know to get your day started. It's a great way to stay informed and organized. Next, let's talk about the drop-in feature. This is a game changer for households with multiple rooms, or even for staying in touch with loved ones. This is mostly for devices like the Amazon Echo, and it basically lets you use your smart speakers like an intercom system. You can instantly communicate with anyone in your home without having to shout across rooms. You can instantly connect with other Echo devices in your home, or even call family and friends who have the feature set up. It's perfect for quick check-ins or family announcements. But one of my favorite things about voice assistants is the ability to create routines. This feature can truly transform how you interact with your smart home devices. This is where you can combine multiple actions into a single command. Imagine saying one phrase and having several things happen at once. For example, you could create a good morning routine that turns on your lights, starts your coffee maker, and plays the news, all with just one phrase. It's like having a butler at your service. And finally, let's not forget about the safety features that voice assistants offer. These can be crucial in emergency situations. In case of an emergency, you can use your voice to call for help, even if your phone is out of reach. This can be a lifesaver, especially for those who live alone or have mobility issues. Just make sure you have the feature enabled and your location services turned on. This ensures that emergency services can find you quickly and accurately. Now, I know what you're thinking. All this voice control stuff sounds amazing, but what about privacy? It's a question that comes up often, and for good reason. It's a valid concern, especially when we're talking about devices that are always listening. These devices are designed to be attentive, but that doesn't mean they are recording everything you say. The good news is, tech companies are aware of these concerns and have built in a lot of security features to protect your information. They employ advanced encryption and regular security updates to keep your data safe. First and foremost, nothing you say is recorded or stored unless you use the wake word. This means the device is in a passive listening mode until it hears the specific command. So feel free to have those private conversations without worrying about your voice assistant eavesdropping. Your everyday discussions remain private and secure. You can also mute the microphone on your devices if you want to be extra cautious. This is a simple yet effective way to ensure your device isn't listening when you don't want it to. Most smart speakers have a physical button for this, and you can easily disable the microphone on your phone through the settings. It's a quick step that adds an extra layer of privacy. If you're really concerned about the data that's being collected, you can always go into the settings of your voice assistant and clear your history. This gives you control over what information is stored. This will delete any recordings of your voice commands so you can start fresh. It's a good practice to do this regularly to maintain your privacy. And finally, when you're setting up smart home devices, make sure you're using a trusted network and a strong password. This is crucial for keeping your devices secure from potential threats. This will help to prevent unauthorized access to your devices and your personal information. By taking these steps, you can enjoy the convenience of voice assistants while keeping your data safe. So, we've covered a lot of ground here, but the truth is, this is just the beginning for voice assistants. As technology continues to evolve, we can expect to see even more innovative and exciting uses for these powerful tools. Imagine a world where you can control every aspect of your home with just your voice, from the lights and temperature to the appliances and entertainment system. We're already seeing glimpses of this future with smart homes, but it's only going to get more advanced and integrated. Voice assistants are also becoming increasingly personalized. They're learning our habits, preferences, and even our emotions, which allows them to provide us with even more tailored and helpful experiences. And as artificial intelligence continues to develop, we can expect voice assistants to become even more intelligent and capable. They'll be able to understand us better, respond to our needs more effectively, and even anticipate our wants before we even ask. The future of voice assistants is full of possibilities, and it's exciting to think about how these technologies will continue to shape the way we live, work, and interact with the world around us. So there you have it, guys. Voice assistants. They're not just for setting timers anymore. We've gone from basic commands to controlling our homes, staying organized, and even getting a little help in emergencies. And the best part is, this technology is constantly evolving. Who knows what kind of crazy cool features we'll have in a few years. Maybe we'll be talking to our self-driving cars or ordering pizza with the power of thought. Okay, maybe not that last one, but you get the idea. The point is, voice assistants are becoming a bigger and bigger part of our lives, and for good reason. They're convenient, they're powerful, and they have the potential to make our lives a whole lot easier. So if you haven't already, I encourage you to dive in and start exploring everything that voice assistants have to offer. You might be surprised at just how much they can do. So that's it for this breakdown of voice assistants. Hopefully, you learned a thing or two and maybe even discovered some features you didn't know existed. It's crazy how much these things can do, and they're only getting more advanced. Big thanks to you for listening. As always, thanks for watching. This is Bill James, Tech for Senior. Stay curious and keep exploring.
All right. Well done, Bill. I hope the dentist is kind to you today. But anyway, if you have any questions, we'll certainly take those in the Q&A. Now, the next session we have for you today is setting up emergency features on your smartphone. This could be a life-saving feature, so please pay attention to this. And you may want to go back and play it again for the details in there. A lot of information here, but and it's a published video now on our site. So let's have a look and see what I have to say. Your smartphone isn't just for calls, text, and selfies. It can be a literal lifesaver in an emergency. Today we're going to be diving into 5 emergency services you should set up right now on your phone. We'll break it down, the differences between Android and iPhone. Whether you're using a Google Pixel, a Samsung Galaxy, or an iPhone, these features can alert first responders, share your medical information, and even contact loved ones automatically. Let's make sure your phone is ready when seconds count. Let's begin with something every smartphone user should set up: your medical ID on iPhone or emergency information on Android. The critical feature stores health and contact information directly on your locked screen, so first responders can see your information without needing your password. Why this matters? Well, imagine you're unconscious after a car accident. Paramedics can't ask you about your allergies, medications, or who to call. But if you set this up, they'll have the answers right on your phone. Now, on an iPhone, you open the Health app. Tap the profile photo up in the top right. Select Medical ID. Tap Edit, and then fill out the information required. But it's very important that you hit the toggle on to show when locked. Once enabled, emergency responders can access this by tapping Emergency Medical from the locked screen. Now on Android, this varies a bit by brand. Most Android phones offer a similar feature, though the steps may differ slightly, such as stock Android phones versus Pixel and Motorola. First of all, let's go to Settings. Let's go to Safety and Emergency, and then we'll see Medical Information. I'll let you fill in your personal information here, but make sure that you turn on the feature Show on Locked Screen, because it doesn't do any good if you're unconscious and they need a password to see what your medical information is. You want it to be available on the lock screen for healthcare professionals. Now on Samsung devices, you open Contacts, tap your profile, and then tap Medical Information and enter the details. You can go back to Settings, Lock Screen, Contact Info, but add a brief note like swipe up for emergency information so that they clearly understand where to find it. On many Android phones, responders can tap emergency information from the lock screen even without a passcode. So here are some pro tips for you. Add at least 2 emergency contacts in case one is unavailable. Update the information every 6 to 12 months. This isn't sort of set it and forget it sort of thing. Keep it updated. Use plain language for medical conditions. Say you've got a heart condition instead of atrial fibrillation. If you're traveling, include info relevant to your destination. For example, if you are on dialysis and you've arranged for emergency dialysis in certain locations, you might add that as well in the information. Now this takes just 2 to 3 minutes to set up, but it could make the difference in an emergency. If you help care for a senior patient or a loved one with medical issues, this is one of the first things you should check on their phone. So let's set this up to stay safe and give those emergency responders a little bit of extra help they often need. Now let's talk about your emergency SOS, your smartphone's built-in panic button, one of the most powerful safety tools on your phone, and possibly the most underused. Now, emergency SOS lets you quickly call emergency services, share your live location, and alert your emergency contacts, all without the need to unlock your phone or say a word. It's designed for situations like car accidents, personal safety threats, emergency services where you can't speak, and natural disasters. Now, on the iPhone, iOS 15 and later, there are 2 ways to activate the emergency SOS. Option 1 is to press and hold the side button plus 1 volume button. A slider appears. Keep holding to auto call emergency services. Option 2 is rapidly press the side button 5 times. iPhone will call 911 or local emergency number. Send a text message with your live location to your emergency contacts, or it will keep sharing updates if your location changes. You can also choose to silence the alarm in settings, helpful if you're in danger and need to stay quiet. To customize the settings, go to Settings, Emergency SOS. You can toggle off the countdown sound and enable or disable auto call. So there's some features there that you can change. Now, most newer Android phones have a similar feature, often with more customization. Let's look at the Google Pixel Android 12 and Plus. Go to Settings, Safety and Emergency SOS. Enable SOS trigger by pressing the power button 5 times. Now you can set it to call emergency services, example 911, share your location with emergency contacts, start a video recording up to 45 minutes, and auto back it up to your Google account. You can also play a loud alarm or stay silent. Now on Samsung devices, you can open the Settings, Safety and Emergency, and send SOS messages. Enable trigger via side key presses 3 or 4 times. Choose emergency contacts. Optionally, send photo from the front or rear of your camera, audio recording for 5 seconds, or location info. So in this slide, I've put the information together in a graph for you. This feature is essential for everyone, but especially for seniors, solo travelers, runners, and parents. Make sure you set it up on your phone and help your loved ones set it up too. In an emergency, you don't want to waste time fumbling through apps. Location sharing with trusted contacts. Let's move on to location sharing, one of the most effective tools in a real-world emergency. Whether you're lost in danger or just want someone to keep an eye on you during a late night walk or road trip, real-time location sharing keeps your loved ones in the loop. Why this matters? Well, it helps family members find you quickly in an emergency. Ideal for seniors, kids, solo travelers, or outdoor adventurers. Enables remote wellness checks like did they make it home from the doctor. Now on the iPhone, we go to Find My, and here's how to set it up. Open the Find My app, tap People, and then tap Share My Location. Choose your trusted contacts, then set the sharing duration, 1 hour until the end of the day or indefinitely. You can also go to Settings, Find My, and Share My Location. The contact will get the information and can view your location at any time. Now on your Android phone, Google Maps location sharing is what you want. This works across Android and iPhones as well and is very flexible. Open Google Maps app, tap your profile picture and select Location Sharing, tap Share Location, and again you can share the time or until you turn it off. Select Contacts or copy a private link. Your chosen contact will see your real-time location, battery level, and when you last used maps. Cross-platform is available. iPhone users can also receive location via Google Maps as well. So here's a graph comparing the two and showing you the differences. On both now here's a pro tip. On both platforms, you can share your estimated time of arrival during a trip, which updates if you're delayed. Great for road trips or late night Uber rides. I recommend setting up permanent sharing with 1 or 2 trusted people like a spouse or a close family member. You can always pause it, but having it in place can provide peace of mind and help in the case of a true emergency. Emergency alerts and wireless notification. Imagine you're asleep or driving and suddenly a tornado is headed your way or a child is missing nearby. Your phone can automatically warn you even when it's on silent using government-issued emergency alerts. These alerts are part of the Wireless Emergency Alert or WEA system and can literally save lives. The type of alerts you might receive are amber alerts for missing children, severe weather warnings, tornadoes, hurricanes, flash floods, evacuation orders, wildfires or chemical spills, national alerts, presidential level emergencies, or public safety alerts, shelter in place or boil water notices. These alerts are location based and you'll only see them if you're living in an affected area. Now, how to manage alerts on an iPhone? Simple. Open Settings, Notifications, scroll all the way to the bottom. Look for Government Alerts. Now, I would suggest you toggle on Amber Alerts, Emergency Alerts, Public Safety Alerts, and option Turn Off Test Alerts if you're not a beta tester. Emergency alerts are usually enabled by default. If you're in the US or Canada, these alerts are delivered through the National Alerting System, so you don't need an app. Now, Android notifications can be a little bit different because they're different brands of phones. But generally, here's how you do it. You go to Settings, Safety and Emergency, and Wireless Emergency Alerts. Tap Allow Alerts, and then enable Extreme Threats, Severe Threats, Amber Alerts, Public Safety Messages, and Test Alerts. Optional, set alert sound vibration if they bypass your Do Not Disturb. Okay, Samsung devices, go to Settings, Notifications, Wireless Emergency Alerts, tap the three-dot menu in Settings, and customize the same types of alerts. And here's a summary table to show you the different types of alerts on different phones. Even if your phone is on silent, these alerts will make noise and vibrate because they're that important. They're designed to cut through distraction and warn you in time to act. Unless you're in a sensitive environment like a hospital or a movie theater, I recommend leaving these alerts on, especially weather and safety alerts. Emergency contact setup. In an emergency, your phone should know who to notify, even if you can't make the call yourself. That's why setting up emergency contacts is critical in both iPhone and Android. These contacts will be automatically notified if you trigger an emergency SOS, and in some cases can be seen by first responders on your lock screen. Why emergency contacts matter? Well, it will let your spouse or adult child know if you are in trouble, help first responders identify next of kin, provide access to someone who can share your medical history, medication, or insurance info, and enable GPS location sharing during a crisis. Think of it as your in the case of an emergency list, digitally built into your phone. Now, how to add emergency contacts on an iPhone? Well, you open the Health app, tap on the profile photo top right, tap Medical ID, Edit, scroll to Emergency Contacts, and then add Emergency Contact. Choose someone from your contacts list, select your relationship to your spouse, parent, friend, so on. Now, these contacts will receive an SOS text with your location when emergency SOS is triggered, be visible on your medical ID screen from the lock screen, and be updated with your live location for a short time. Now let's look at how to add emergency contacts on Android. Well, you go to a little different place. You go to Settings, Safety, Emergency, and Emergency Contacts. Tip Add Contact. Choose from your contacts list. Now in Samsung devices, go to Contacts, your profile, and scroll to Emergency Contacts and add. Go to Settings, Safety, Emergency, and then hit Emergency Contacts. If you trigger the emergency SOS, these people will get a location text and in some cases even photos or audio. Well, it's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. 5 emergency services you should set up on your smartphone. Could be a lifesaver. Hopefully you enjoyed the video today as much as I had making it. Now this is the 3rd video I've made in a series called A Guide to Better Health with Your Smartphone. I'll put the link in the description with the other 2 videos, and of course this will be a 5 video All right. Just before we get up, Mike Leaman up, let me just say goodbye to our YouTube group, or sorry, our to over on YouTube. Thank you for coming or thank you for watching. Don't forget our premium video will be at 1/2 past the hour. If you want to come over and participate in the Q&A, just come over to our live feed here on our Zoom meeting, and we'd be happy to let you in. And otherwise, Mike, you can take it over. You can take it away.
And so today's featured artist is the Stampeders. I actually had them up for a couple of weeks ago, but then we had so many notables pass away that we had to take some time and feature them. But the Stampeders are back up for this week. So the Stampeders are a Canadian rock band best known for their infectious pop rock sound in the early 70s. One of the notable things for them in the early 70s, they played the opening concert at the Moncton Coliseum, which opened here in 1973, I believe. And it was a replacement of about an 8,000 seat auditorium and a sports center for the Moncton Stadium that had collapsed on Christmas Day 3 or 4 years earlier. Anyways, the biography, the band started out in Calgary, Alberta in 1964 as a quintet called the Rebounds. In 1965, they reorganized and officially became the Stampeders. The Stampeders, the name, came from the Calgary football team in the Canadian Football League, the Stampeders. The classic and most successful lineup, which formed in Toronto in 1968, consisted of a trio consisting of Rich Dodson on the guitar and vocals, Ronnie King, bass guitarist and vocals, sadly he passed away, and Kim Burley as the drummer and vocals. Each member contributed to songwriting and shared lead vocals. And here's the note where they were named after the Calgary Stampeders. They quickly became one of Canada's top touring acts, known for their energetic live shows. They toured extensively in Canada, the US, Europe, and South America, becoming international musical ambassadors for Canada. They were recognized with multiple Juno Awards in 1971, including Best Group, Best Single, Best Producer, Best Composer for their hit Sweet City Woman. They also received the prestigious Edison Award in Holland in 1972. While they experienced lineup changes over their career, the trio of Dodson, King, and Burley reunited in 1992 at the Calgary Stampede and have continued to tour ever since. They've been inducted into Alberta's Recording Hall of Fame in 1991, the Calgary Rock Hall of Fame in 1994, the Snowcan Hall of Fame, receiving a Snowcan Life Achievement Award in 2011. They had a number of successful hits between 71 and 76, including some of their notable hits in their approximate years. Carry Me in 1971 was a major Canadian hit. Sweet City Woman, which I'm going to feature today, in 1971 was their biggest international hit, reaching #1 in Canada and #8 on the Hot Billboard 100 in the US. Devil You, again popular in the US in 1971. Monday Morning Choo Choo. Then came The White Man, Wild Eyes, Oh My Lady, which was a beautiful ballad. Minstrel Gypsy, also more of a ballad. Hit the Road Jack, which featured Wolfman Jack, reached #40 on the US Billboard Hot 100. They also had other tracks that are often mentioned, and popular tracks including Playing in the Band, New Orleans, and Keep Me Running Wild. Now, I was lucky enough to see the Stampeders, I think, on 3 occasions. The last time I saw them wasn't in that 8,000 seat auditorium. It was actually in a beer garden in a small community outside of Moncton on a rainy night when the tent was leaking, and they're just everyday guys. They were jamming with the crowd. What a party. So, Ron, if I'll unshare and you can play Sweet City Woman for us here, and I'll post the link in the chat. And that's Canada's Stampeders.
Wolfman Jack, you got to be kidding. Was it they wrote the song?
Yeah, they did a song with Wolfman Jack, Hit the Road Jack.
Yeah. Oh, read that was there. Huh. Amazing. Thanks, Mike. Interesting. Good one. Thanks. Great, great, great selection. All right. That brings it to the top of the hour. We are going to say goodbye to everyone, but we are going to stay around to do our Q&A. I did put the link in the chat for our premiere video that's coming up at 1/2 past the hour. If you have to take off, we'll be back next week, same time, same place. Don't forget, we're still on holidays for our news, our Thursday show. So we will not be a Thursday show this week. But I think, yeah, is it next week or the week after, Huey? On the 7th.
Next week.
Yes, next week. Yeah, we'll be around next week. All right, let's move on to the Q&A.